Despite the day being the 4th of July for Americans, which, by the way, happy Independence Day if you guys are in the United States, it doesn't change the fact that we have vital games coming up in just a matter of 2 days, and really big events here for you guys in the EMEA scene and North America. And then also APAC North and APAC South, of course, are getting ready for their regional finals. This is a really big day because we're about to find out who's going to land, the first people to qualify for land. So also you've got roster updates that have just happened in the last couple of days. We've been following this. It's been a trend over the last couple of days because they had that week off, and I think that they're going to be doing this kind of more commonly as they have breaks, because it gives them more time to practice in scrims and such. So not only what's going on in scrims, what are the roster updates that have taken place, how has the POI drafts affected these players since we've had these changes, and also what can we look forward to in the next couple of days. So let's dive into it first. Big roster update here, I think, for Flat. If you're a Flat fan, of course, Big Q left Flat, gutter to skies. There's not many people I think that could really replace Q to be a solid player. You're gonna have to take another risk on someone like you did with Q. Of course, he's a great player, but as another guy coming out of Challenger Circuit, you're gonna have to trust and hope that he's a top fragger. Hopefully he can hold his own weight. Well, thankfully there was an opportunity with Mamba being former native pro, and also a lot of experience for Mamba in the scene. Mamba has been added to the Flat roster. I think this is probably like best case scenario for a pickup for this late in the season for Flat. They're definitely going to need some strong performances if they're going to make anything happen, but it more than likely, not more than likely, it most definitely is possible. Mamba is a great fit for this team, and I also think that many people still don't agree with the native drop to drop Mamba months ago, and I think no one really thought Mamba was the problem there on that roster. So we'll see how things go and see if this actually is a good roster update for them. Of course, at the end of the day, the competition is outmatched, they're outmatched by the competition. I don't think Flat's just going to come in here and roll everybody else, but they do have a much better chance, I think, than if they just pick some random guy up just to try to make ends meet. Also had to make mention of this roster update because this is probably one of the more watched teams right now. It's AURORA, of course, breaking records last split, having a crazy pro league run here with Hardeki. Sadly, the things just don't go the way that you would expect them to. Not only did they not get the performance they were looking for, but they also drop Hardeki. Like, you just don't commit to one another. They just all of a sudden say, hey, we need to make an emergency change. I wish we didn't see this trend in Apex. Sadly, people are not really as committed to each other as I feel like they were, back in the old days of Call of Duty or something like that. Hopefully one day you'll get to that. But I guess at the end of the day, there's just so many pros, so many people to choose from. And if everybody feels like they can just go a step up, a next step ahead, they're going to make those roster changes. So AURORA has now finally replaced Hardeki, it seems, with Kazuka. So this guy's actually in the EMEA scene right now. He's playing in Pro League right now. He's actually not doing too bad. I think he's a player with obviously past experience. He's no new guy to the scene. So don't get your panties in a wad, I guess, if you're an AURORA fan. So how does this affect things? Well, currently AURORA is in 12th place right now, and of course they've got 5 games. They are behind NIP. I do think 07 or NIP will fare just well to get into the top 8. They've still got 2 more match days. They got regional finals coming up, but AURORA is in 12th place, and they are climbing back because they were kind of down low here for a bit. Now on the flip side, their new teammate Kazuka is actually in 17th place with team players. This is the team that he's going to be coming from. They actually just played days ago. 14th place, 12 kills overall. The guy's not bad. He's got experience, right? And I do think EMEA scene is a very unique scene in that it's different than North America. No offense to that scene whatsoever, but I do think that North America Challenger Circuit players are more than likely to fare, I guess fragger wise, I think they're going to come in and fare pretty well. I think EMEA right now, this part of the season, this late in the season, you do not, in my opinion, want to take a chance on a CC player that you don't know how they're going to fare. I do think this guy has had his experience. He's been around the block for a while. He's been in the scene for a while, and he's been in Pro League. He's got recent experience, and I think at a roster change this late in the season, that is ideally what you want to go for. So I do think it is not a bad pickup for AURORA. I actually like the thought process behind it. And that's not a diss at the Challenger Circuit players whatsoever. But I mean, like in North America, you're seeing guys basically being taken a chance on. Like Rambo, we talked about yesterday. Rambo has just been picked up by the Stallions. And I don't necessarily say or predict that these guys are just going to pop off with Rambo, but I think it's more likely in the NA scene that you see those guys take big risk on those CC players, because they know that, you know, sometimes that's just where it goes. You'll just get one of those guys every now and then that just pops off and is the next big thing. You're not really seeing generational talent, I guess, coming out of the CC side that often from these other regions, or at least not to my knowledge. But I'll probably get roasted in the comments for that, likely so, and probably it's very warranted because I'm a big idiot. So at the end of the day, that's what Aurora is making their roster change with. I'm actually kind of a fan of it. I mean, I'm not a fan opposed to, you know, having Hardeki just stay, but I do think they're trying to make the best with what they have. And at the end of the day, it's what they're doing, and we're just going to have to take a look and see how they actually perform in the next couple of days. Speaking of the next couple of days, what is going on and what teams are playing and how important are these games? So for North America, you got Group A versus Group C. Of course, we mentioned this, I think, yesterday. It's a big day for Disguise. Not impossible. They just got to basically perform a miracle and go all out. Cloud9 flat here, of course, with their new roster update. Furia, Liquid Alienware, Native, Oblivion, Stallions, Temper, Vanity versus Yup, Weave, Falcons, SSG, Pioneers, Oxygen, NRG, Most Hated, E8 also needing some good games here, and CCE. Actually, Disguise may mathematically be impossible. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure if they just like win everything, I don't see how it couldn't be possible. It's like 25 for first. They've got 3 more sets, so they would be 25, 50, 75. 75 plus 15 would be 90. So I would say 90 most definitely will make it. So if they just win everything, yeah, they absolutely could do it. It'd just be kind of a like short of a miracle there for that to happen. Then you have Group B versus Group C going in the day after. Cloud9, Disguise, Flat, Furia once again this right side C group, and then you've got B group, which is Bleed, Board, Complexity, EC, Fluffy, LG, Empire, NGNL, Not Moist, TSM, Not Moist, obviously also needing a really big day as well. But currently, as it stands, you have the North American scene sitting at a very healthy I think point distribution besides Team Falcons. Everybody else besides Team Falcons looks like solid teams. No one's really dominating one another. And honestly, as bad as Disguise is doing, I don't think that they're necessarily being like left behind their fellow bottom fraggers here. Like, you know, they're only a couple points off from 25th, which doesn't sound as bad. And honestly, as far as being relegated from Pro League, they really only need probably one good day and they can still retain their Pro League spot. So just got to have some sort of life shown here for Disguise. And it's just sad that we have not had that whatsoever as of late. Now for the EMEA scene coming up, of course, they've got Group A and C as well. Some of these teams that really need to kind of step up in this part. You've got NIP. Obviously, I feel like they're going to do just fine. They're a game behind already, still up in that top 12. So I think they're going to be just fine. Aurora, obviously, we just made mention of as well. They've got to show up. Alliance is probably going to get number 1 with this. They're a game behind inside the top 5. So these guys are more than like, I think they probably have the highest average points per match right now inside of EMEA scene. So we'll see if they can continue to keep that trend up. But NIP, Aurora, and Alliance, probably Navi as well, are probably the big ones that everybody basically are watching right now. And then of course they've got a follow-up match day as well, just like the North American scene, where you're going to see Alliance, NIP play again, because once again they're a match behind. But then you'll have some of these other teams, but once again it's a 19 team lobby because Team Passion is no longer on this team, or they're no longer involved anymore because they've disbanded and gone to their own routes at this point. But Gaming Gladiators up there as well. They're sitting just fine. But more than likely, I think it's just this. Players going to have to make a roster change to fix the Aurora situation that just happened. And then, of course, we've got the APAC South, the big one, APAC North regional finals coming up Sunday, July the 7th. This is a big one and probably the biggest event this weekend. Of course, don't get me wrong. I'm all about watching E8. I'm all about watching Disguise. But right now, it is all about land qualification, and that only resides in the teams that we have this weekend for regional finals, which is APAC South and APAC North. I personally predict, as no one should be surprised, Legends Gaming should probably win this regional finals. But there's a team not many people are talking about. Everybody's kind of looking at MKR's VKG because they're the highest seed. Do not sleep on Guild, because since the recent update, since the recent roster changes, don't forget MT is now involved in this roster. Former North American Pro, former APAC South Pro, and this guy has so much experience, and it seems like Bugi's going to be taking a step back into the substitute spot. MT's going to be back starting here, so very excited to see MT compete in the APAC South regional finals here in just a matter of days. And then the APAC North region is no different. Of course, they're going to be on the same day. Fnatic, New Jay obviously has been surprising a lot of people. So is Noah's Fox as well. Two unsigned organizations here in the top two and the top four. Northception up here. Reject Winity, of course, just recently being signed to Crazy Raccoon. They're going to be going into this regional finals with a new roster. So like a very big lack of experience or playtime with one another, because Reject just won the recent playoffs that we had, but they did it with Karen P, and now Karen P's not even on this roster anymore. They're gonna have to go with Justin from Crazy Raccoons. So this roster change was made pretty late. I don't really know how I feel about it still, because I feel like, bro, things were going so well. Reject was still looking pretty good inside of Pro League. Nothing was really wrong. And so the fact they made that roster update, it's pretty sad for Karen P, in my personal opinion, but it is what it is. I'm interested to see how they actually fare in this tournament coming up in a couple of days. Regional finals literally just a matter of 3 days away. Riddle Order also, I think people are wanting to see something for them, a big team name that just hasn't necessarily been delivering on that Fnatic level and on that Reject level. Kindred Trip Gaming, probably the same storyline there. I think many people are kind of looking for them to do something a little surprising, but at the end of the day, that's the two teams, that's the two regions that we've got that we're watching over the next couple of days for regional finals. EMEA North America just got their Pro League match days coming up. How are these teams faring off as of recent? Well, of course, we made mention of some of these teams that need to do good, and inside of Scrims, one of them specifically still doing good. Disguise in top four, nice to see. Hopefully they can keep that up. SSG in fifth. Elevate looking pretty solid in sixth as of recent, and of course they've been up and down. So these are just Scrims. Once again, take it with a grain of salt, but not moist. Once again, winning another scrim set. These guys are just so good in scrims, and if we don't get this same not moist from them this weekend, I'm gonna be pissed, because these guys deserve better. They deserve to keep doing as good as they are, and I don't know why they can't deliver on Pro League days like they are on scrim days. But Team Falcons and Sagat, Furia, Cloud9, LG, Complexity up in that top five. Then you've got Disguise in 11, TSM, Stallions down there. Not sure what's gonna happen with Stallions. I feel like we haven't really seen the side of them we've been wanting to see as of late. Best and worst POIs though, as obviously POI drafts are important, so we think, but kind of what we've seen from these graphs, Barometer South seems to be the highest win rate POI here for Storm Point. And on the flip side, you're seeing some of these POIs are good, but you're not necessarily seeing that POIs are everything. One thing we've learned from all these statistics, and especially from this one right here, is that it is not the POI that makes a team great. It is just a good team that makes a team great. And we're seeing teams with really bad POI drafts still win games, still win the entire set, still win the entire series. And I think it's a good one, because you're starting to realize it's not always Lava Siphon, it's not always Lightning Rod. It's literally just a good team. Falcons are making Dome work. They were doing really good on Dome the other day. We've seen teams win from Cliffside. I think we watched the other day, I think it was Furia, it was probably weeks ago, where they got Cliffside inside of the POI draft or something. I think they got second on them. It was just crazy. How does that happen? It's not by accident, guys. It is just simply being a good team. Interested to see what your thoughts are though on all of these POI drafts and the values that they have currently. But currently, the highest point average for Storm Point is Barometer South. The highest point average for World's Edge is Epicenter. However, Barometer South is also the highest win rate at a 16.7%. And Epicenter is definitely not the highest at a 2.8% only. So seems like teams that are good at getting Epi are probably just getting a very consistent placements and probably a good bit of kills. But all the people in the comments are saying one thing we've realized is that it is not the POIs that make teams good. It is most definitely just good teams being good. Interested to see your thoughts down in the comment section below. And what are your predictions here for the regional finals for APAC South and APAC North, and the Pro League days coming up for EMEA and the North American scene? Let us know down in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all things inside the world of Apex Legends esports news. And until the next time, we'll see you all later, Gators. Happy 4th of July. If you guys are in the United States, I'm going to go shoot some fireworks just like a good American would.